I think that question of how can I help you is super important too, because I spoke to someone a long time ago on the show, and he's amazing stuff on LinkedIn. Actually, I think you'd really enjoy meeting him. His name is Joseph Gonzalez, and his phrase that he always talks about is doing exactly what you mentioned, asking people, "How are you?" And then when they say the generic good, asking, "Well, how are you really?" And them opening up and telling him. And his famous question is, "How can I help you right now?" In this moment, how can I help you? And, if people don't have something that he can do in that moment, then sometimes it's as simple as, well, you helped me already just by listening. So rather than throwing advice, just asking people, how is it that I can help you? Maybe there is a specific thing. Maybe they'll say, hey, you're really good at this thing, or it appears that you're really good at this specific thing that I'm struggling with. Do you have a book recommendation? What did you do in order to get through this? Like, then they've opened the door for you to actually give a piece of advice, because now they're asking for it, right? And if they ask for it, that's different than you just offering it, on your own accord.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just so we can clarify too, I think someone coming to you and sharing their emotions, um, between someone and then the other side of it, like someone coming to you with a new problem every single week. Like those are those are two different people, just so we're clarifying. Um,
Yes.
so you have to, and it's obviously our jobs too to kind of recognize that, hey, listen, like there's more help you need than I can't provide. Like
Mm.
let's just cut that. Because sometimes, like I said, sometimes people can work through their own emotions, but then you get some of the people that just something new.
You need people to talk to, man. When I was training salespeople with cellular sales, I always told people, like, and I said it kind of in a joking way, but it really is serious. Like, welcome to sales, where you are going to learn so much more about these random people than you ever cared or asked to learn about. Like, people just open up to you because, in the world that we came from for many years, we sold phones and we're sitting with people for an hour to an hour and a half. Very rarely are strangers sitting down with people for an hour to an hour and a half just talking and filling the space there. So people would talk about their relationships. People would talk about their struggles. Every single day, someone talks to me about how someone is sick in their family or how they're sick or whatever it is. And I always told the new salespeople, like, hey, listen, you're about to enter a world where everyone's going to talk about their problems. And you might necessarily feel like you don't have a space to talk about your own. I said, so if you feel that way, get a therapist. Like, find someone who you can talk to and have these conversations with. Like, having those people in your life that you can just have a conversation with about everything you're doing, both the good, the wins, the accomplishments, but also, hey, this is where I'm struggling, and just put it all out there without having to worry about burdening that person. Because sure, there are some people who I won't open up to, because I feel like it would burden that person, right? It's not the right person. But I think about my personal coach who I've been working with for almost several years. His name is Di. He's been on the show. And the first 10 minutes of every call with him is literally just me talking about all the things that I don't talk to other people about, both the wins, the brags about what I'm doing, the things I feel good about, but also this is where I'm struggling. These are the fears I have. I was just talking with someone yesterday, Caleb Nelson, his name is, and he's also been on the show. And I opened up to him about a fear that I was having. And he's like, well, dude, I have that same fear. And I was like, holy crap, other people are feeling this too. And we got into a conversation about the fear. And the fear was this: I'll open up with everyone. My fear was, we want to host retreats. But at this point with our current audience, I was like, I just don't want to put all the time and the energy into marketing the retreat and have it fail and no one shows up. And he's like, dude, I feel the same exact way. And I feel like even with people who do have the quote unquote audience for that, it's a fear that we all experience. So the things that you're feeling, other people certainly fear the same thing and feel the same way. So find someone to have that conversation with, right? And it's easier said than done. But even if you just have a few trusted sources, man, it can make a dramatic difference in your own quality of life.
Yeah, and to kind of bounce off that too, I mean, I have, there's a select few people in my life, right? Like you have friends, um, but then you have, like, when I'm thinking about, like, who do I need to go to for this? Like, what emotion am I trying to process? Who do I believe I can talk to that I think will like give me valuable advice or just listen if I need them to. And that's honestly happened a couple times this week, um, where I've been like, I need to talk to somebody, but I can't just talk to any of my friends because
Mm,
because I know emotionally where some of them stand.
yeah.
So they may not be to that um, maturity level where I can feel confident enough being able to talk through my emotions with them and them kind of to be able to understand it because they come from it may be because they just come from a different life, and that's fine, right? And that's the
Yeah.
part of like finding the right people, making sure that you have your circle of trust with the friends that mean the most, and you may not talk to them all about the same thing, um, but knowing who to kind of be able to go to for that kind of help. And it's funny that you mentioned too about having the same problems. Just
Hmm.
before this phone call, or before this live session, I was on a call with another local entrepreneur, and I was telling her my current struggles, and she was like, "I'm right there with you." And
Hmm.
I'm like, I thought you go into, especially the entrepreneur life, you're like I'm the only one going through this, like who can I, like there's no one else, like no, I think it's the same struggle for a lot of entrepreneurs that are building their business, and it's always this like internal struggle, and having that conversation with her allowed me to like, oh, okay, well, there are other people going through this, so don't ever think that you're the only one that's going through a certain situation.